Hello and welcome to the first of two GCSE Maths revision videos I'm making covering fractions and decimals. This is not everything you need to know in these topic areas. I've just picked out some of the key areas where I've seen people dropping marks. So things you see here, I'm not going to read them out for you, but these are what I'm covering in this video. So getting straight in there, I'll look at simplifying a fraction. I've started with 5/20ths, I've simplified it down to 1/4, and key thing to remember, to simplify a fraction you need to divide the top and the bottom by the same thing and keep going until you can't go any further. Most common mistake I see here is dividing the top by one thing and the bottom by something else. Let's have a look at another one. So here I've started with 16 over 48, and it doesn't matter how many steps you take. I could have divided by 16 and gone from here to here in one step. Here I've taken 3 steps. Doesn't matter, as long as you end up here at 1/3. Let's look at one more. It's just highlighting that you can do this in different ways. I've started with 12/30ths, and if you look here, divided by 2, then by 3 to get 2/5. Alternatively, I could have divided by 3 first, top and bottom, to get 4/10, then divided by 2 to get 2/5. So, key point here, doesn't matter how many steps or in what order, where you end up is what matters. So that is now in its fully simplified form. Okay, let's move on. Some practice questions. You've had a bit of a demonstration of how this is to be done. If your teacher pauses the video, you can have a go at these 5 questions and check your answer. So pause here, please. Okay, here are your answers. If you got all these correct, looks like you've got simplification nailed. If not, go away, ask your teacher for some more practice material. That would be something you need to work on. Okay, moving on. Ordering and comparing fractions. When you've got fractions with the same denominator, this is nice and easy. So comparing 2/5 to 3/5, we just compare the numerators. Now, when we get different denominators, like here, 2/3 and 3/5, the method we're going to use is going to involve finding a new common denominator. So you'll see what I'm going to do here is multiply the 3 and the 5 to get a new denominator of 15, here and here. Then starting with the left-hand fraction, I'm going to cross-multiply 2 times 5, put my answer on the left. Then moving to the right-hand fraction, I'm going to cross-multiply, put my answer on the right. So 2/3 has been converted to 10/15, 3/5 has been converted to 9/15, and now that the denominators are the same, I can see that 2/3 is the larger fraction when compared to 3/5. Okay, let's do some practice. Here are a couple of practice questions. You can use that cross-multiplication method. So you're going to be multiplying the existing denominators to get a new common denominator, and then doing cross-multiplication. If you get your teacher to pause the video here, have a go, then check your answers. So pause now, please. Okay. Here are the answers. I'm not going to go with a detailed run through. Hopefully you've got those correct. Okay, moving on again. finding fractions of quantities. This is a high frequency topic. The method I've got for you, straightforward. Take your amount here, £60, divide that by the bottom of the fraction, and then times the answer by the top of the fraction. So 60 divided by 4 is 15, to try to represent using a picture here, and 3 times 15 is 45. So 3/4 of £45, sorry, 3/4 of £60 is £45. So divide by the bottom, times by the top. So use that method to tackle these 7 practice questions. If you can get all these right, that would suggest that you've got this topic nailed. So your teacher can pause the video now. You can do these and check your answers. So here are those 7 answers. Hopefully you've done all right with those. Next topic, adding and subtracting fractions. So if we look here, with the same denominator, we just add and subtract across the numerators. Please, 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 when you're doing this, do not add the denominators. The answer is not 3/10, it's 3/5. I see that mistake made very frequently. Moving on to another example, when the denominators are different, we can reuse that method that we were just looking at. See here, I've multiplied the 8 and the 5 to get 40, to give me a common denominator of 40, and I've used the same cross multiplication method. So starting on the left, 5 times 5, 25. That goes on the top of the left fraction. Then moving to the right hand fraction, 2 times 8 is 16. So I'll put that answer on the right. And because this was a subtraction, put a subtract sign between them. Denominators are the same, so I can just subtract across the top. 25 minus 16 is 9. And 9 over 40, I can't simplify that any further. So there's my answer. Here are some practice questions to have a go at. Again, if your teacher pauses the video, have a look at those and then check your answers. Okay, here are the answers to those. It's only question 4 where your answer could be simplified. 9/18 can be simplified down to a half. So in fully simplified form, this answer is a half. Okay, next, multiplication and division. Starting with multiplication, this is probably easier than adding and subtracting because all you have to do is multiply the numerators. 2 times 3 is 6. Multiply the denominators. 5 times 7 is 35. Multiplying fractions, that's all there is. Reason people make mistakes, if they make mistakes, is because they mix this up with adding and subtracting, and then they start cross-multiplying, and that's just not necessary. So here are 3 questions to have a go at. Again, afterwards, if you get an answer that can be simplified, think about simplifying it. If you're asked to simplify it, you have to. If you're not asked to, you can get away without doing it. So we pause here. Okay, so our final answers are 5/12 after simplifying. Second one, 3/10. Third one couldn't be simplified, we just end up with 8/21. And the final thing for this video is division. We used a bit of a cheat method for this that I'm not going to explain the whys and wherefores in great detail. For now, if we can just accept that this is a valid method that you are allowed to use, and it involves, sometimes see this referred to as KFC method. The K stands for keep, so you keep the first fraction as it is. You F for flip the second fraction. So you see I've turned the second fraction upside down. 7/8 has become 8/7, and you C or change the division into a multiplication. So 4/5 divided by 7/8 becomes 4/5 times 8/7. And because we already know how to multiply fractions, 4 times 8, 32, 5 times 7, 35. The answer is 32/35. Okay, if I scroll down here, here's another one. Have a go at that, please. If your teacher pauses the video, then we can check your answer. Okay, kept the 3/4, flipped the 5/6 to be 6/5, and then turned it into a multiplication and got 18/20. That can be simplified, dividing top and bottom by 2 to get 9/10, which is my final answer. So that's the end of my first video on this fraction stuff. In the second one, we're going to be looking at converting between fractions and percentages. Okay, thanks for watching and listening. Bye.